Hey guys, it's Wolf, and I learned how to get the camera out of the way. I also figured out how to make a complete course mode, and I'm going to show you what I know right now. And in a later episode, I will touch in the more detailed scripts later. So first thing you'll want to do is go into the map that you had made in the previous episode, and delete the info player FOF because we're actually going to be creating a spawn point inside the script so that we can make it have an output when the player spawns. So that's pretty important. Next thing you'll want to do is just compile the map. I'm doing it with normal settings because this map is tiny, but when in a bigger map, if you're just making the scripts, fast will do just fine, or maybe even just null on everything but BSP. And then we'll go into game. Here we are in game, and I'm going to go to the create server area, go to the full map list, select your map that you made, and then select course bots _z. And then run script. Make sure you have plenty of time, just like last time. And I set it to 90% allow bots so that I can actually see the bots that spawn. And then click OK for it to launch. Next, we'll go into the console and type in sv cheats sv underscore cheats space 1, sv underscore LAN space 1, and that'll just make sure it's a LAN network, and we can use cheats if we have to. Go into spectator mode. We're not spawning in, and go ahead and check what your AI editor and your course mode editor is set to in the settings. By default, it's F4 and F5. So go to the keyboard controls and then check down here for AI in-game editor, F4, and then course editor is F5. You might have to remap those. Sometimes they're not mapped. So just remember that you can remap them if you have to. Go ahead and press F. Oops, we made this with the wrong things. Let's fix that. Oh, there we go. So I guess if that happens, go ahead and select here and choose course bot Z, because that's the bot definition that we're going to be using. Okay, so next thing we'll do is I'm just going to, while I'm here, set these to brass knuckles. Just make sure it's all on there. Like that. And we're good. And then I'm going to spawn a group. We'll be using this group to spawn later when we're ready. So I'm going to spawn 5 of them. Each one of them will contribute, when you kill one, will contribute 20% to the complete. But whatever number works. It doesn't have to be like even or anything like that. Okay, and then go ahead and save this as whatever. I'm going to save mine as group 1 so that I can refer to it very easily in the future. And then I'm going to save my definition so that we don't have to change these back to brass knuckles next time we want to make a map. I'm going to go ahead and change these to test course 1. And then .txt, don't forget that. And save. Okay, next, let's get out of the item spawn. They will walk around. It's kind of annoying to listen to them the whole time. And then we'll press F5 to get into these scripts. First thing you'll want to place is a player spawn wherever the heck you want. So place that. Right-click to free your mouse. Select on options. And then normal. Make sure that's set. The next thing we'll want to do is we'll want to put a check timer. This basically displays a message, whatever message you define, and then counts down whatever amount of seconds you define within it. So it will display a countdown. So I'm going to put my message, I'm going to label this as start. I'm going to put my message as game will begin in, and then I'm going to put that in there. The countdown time I'm going to put as 15 seconds. No, I'll put it as 10. We don't want to wait too long. And then the output I'm going to set as wave 1. We'll get back to that later. For the output at the player spawn, when the player spawns, the output will be fired. So we will put start in there. Let's spawn another thing. Well, actually, no. Let's go into item spawning by pressing F4 and then pressing Alt, and that will go into item spawner. Scrolling to select the different modes, and I'm looking for walker. There it is, 9. And then I'm going to save that as weapon walker. I'm going to save that as a group. That's a supply group, not a spawn group. Like that over there is a spawn group. This is a supply group. So just remember that. I'm going to go back into here, and then I'm going to go back into the scripts by pressing F5. I'm going to set up a supply script which will spawn the it'll spawn the walker. When you spawn, it'll spawn the walker. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to name this start. I'm going to name it the same thing. Go into options and then select weapon walker supply, or whatever you named it. We named that supply weapon walker. And we don't really need an output. You can put an output. Like if you want to do this differently, if you want this to have its own name, so let's just say that that's start. Let's just say that it's start timer, right? You could also have the output so that this fires to the start timer. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And now you can see that it's a chain. So when the spawn fires, it'll spawn the gun, and then it will trigger the check timer, which will count down to 10 seconds. And once the 10 seconds is up, it will fire wave 1. So let's work on wave 1. I'm going to select wave script. That will spawn this wave over here. I'm going to click it anywhere. A lot of these, it doesn't matter where you place it, only the guns. But place them kind of localized so that it's easy to find stuff. Go to options, script, and then whatever you named that group over there. Make this label wave 1, and you'll see it'll draw a little line here. You see these all have lines to going to their coordinates, and you can see that the check timer is wave 1 here, right? And then have an output from this. Let's go ahead and spawn the check wait. This is my favorite one. So we'll go ahead and put that in. We'll put the label as check end. Wait in seconds. This is really interesting. So if you put in 5,6, not 5.6, 5,6, it will count down 5 seconds, and then it will repeat every 1 second, because that's the distance in between 5 and 6. So it'll count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it will go 1, 1, 1, and it'll repeat. And then the output, we will make another. So let's put in a check enemies, just like that. We'll name this check ene, because I'm too lazy. Enemies left, set that as 0. And then the output set as end. We'll focus on that later. Put the output as check ene, and you can see that it draws an output there. Go into here and make the output check underscore end. And then go back into here. Whoops, I did something. There we go. Go back into here and then go all the way down, and you can see that there's a challenge end at 10. So it's the blackest, it's the darkest one. I'm going to place that there. I'm going to name this end. You can see how it's drawing there. I don't really know what the first, second, and third do. I think that's just, like if you have several end challenges, I have no clue. So I just put it 1 and then key and then the output. But I'm going to make the output I'm going to put it as a message end. And then we'll put a HUD message in. So message end. It drew a line. HUD text. You did it. Yay. And it doesn't need an output unless you want it to play a sound. Like if you want it to play a sound, you can put an output. But this is just the bare minimum. So let's review what we've done. The start area goes to the resupply script, which spawns in that gun, and it also triggers the check timer, which goes down for 10 seconds, and that, once the 10 seconds is up, goes to a wave script that will spawn the zombies. And then over here, this is a repeating timer. After 5 seconds, it will check again for how many enemies there are every second. And then once that triggers, it triggers every second the check enemies. And if the check enemies senses that there are no enemies left, we set it as 0. You can set it as any number, which is kind of cool. Like if there's only 1 zombie left, you can have it win. I guess. And then once it detects that there are no other enemies, it goes to challenge end, which puts out a message, you did it, once the challenge ends. So this should be ready, but you do have to save it. And how you save it is when you're in this editor, press Alt, and that little window will show up. Right-click to free your mouse, name it something. So if you wanted to make this like an intermediate level, I'm not going to do that, but if you wanted to, then you could put that in. I'm just going to make this test course, and then click on save. You can change these settings around, but it works without changing anything. Go ahead and make sure it's saved. Check if it's there, and you can even load it to see if it's saved, just like that. And it looks like it saved all of it. To run the script and to actually play your game, go ahead and go into the create server, go into course mode, select yours because it should be a course now, and then in here in the auto select tab, put in the just now saved course script, and then click OK, and it'll launch. Click auto select, and you can see stuff spawned. Game will begin in 6 seconds. Have your weapon ready. And it should spawn zombies over there. There are the zombies. Oh, and something I forgot, actually. This is kind of funny. They're not going to chase you unless you actually generate the nav mesh. So yeah, just for a map of this simple, in other maps you actually have to do a lot of the map generation yourself. But in a map this simple, just type in nav generate space 1, click enter. It's really fast because it's a super simple map. And then go again, pick up your weapon before the counter goes down, or else you're going to be weaponless. Or being chased by zombies, and then you'll have to pick up the weapon and stuff. It's beginning, and now they are coming at me, now that we've generated the nav mesh. And you have to kill all 5 of them. I missed. I missed. I missed. I missed. I got 1. 2.5, kind of. Oh boy! I'm flying. I know I'm cheating. It's unfair. I think they still got me. I'm bad at my own course. I'm actually just bad at aiming. I haven't like played this game in a year. All I've been doing playing it is testing stuff like this. But that's no excuse, because I'm just awful. Okay, I'm going to try and get some way before they get to me. One. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I think I panicked. Oh no. One more. Come on. What you got? Oh, he ain't got nothing. And then course complete. You did it. So that's the course that you just made. It's fully complete. You can replay it, and you can win it